Hello and welcome into the SorareData Football Strategy Show. I'm Andrew Lairdinho. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, joined once again by PSU fans too, Sean Newsham. Today to talk about progressing from limited to rare, although I think a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about is applicable if you are progressing from amateur to limited or rare to super rare, maybe super rare to unique, probably not though. Sean, there's been a bunch of comments in the chat already. Thank you everybody for joining. Looks like Kev Hurd was first in. I think the conversation we're going to have today is going to be a little different than what a lot of people are expecting, because there's a whole lot of like, oh, just spend more money. And while that is going to be part of the conversation, I hate to break it to everyone. I mean, explain why spending more money is why you have to do it. However, I do think the conversation will go in a slightly different spot. But Sean, do you remember exactly how you responded when I told you what the topic was?
Let's go over what Laird. Let's go over the last like 4 weeks worth of topics. Laird messages me, "Hey, do you have anything we should talk about?" Me, no, because like I'm brain bust on Sunday. I don't have anything. Last week, Laird, well, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I don't have anything. Laird, pick something. Then this week he comes into. I could have sworn we just had this topic like a week ago. But my reaction was, well, there's no progressions. You just skip up.
You had a different response. You had a one-word response. Don't. And I was like, don't what? And I believe your response was, just go to super rare. Don't even go to rare. Go from limited to super rare. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure that's really where we're going here.
I need to verify this. I'm going back in the DMs, guys.
That's fine. Go back. But I just want to be very clear with somebody, because you know what it is that I was wondering if we were talking about this with Tony going to unique, but it wasn't. But Johannatan says right here, and I think this is what we all need to just get out in the open right away.
Yeah.
There is no realistic way to progress without spending more money.
Okay. So I disagree with this partially. There is a way to progress from rare to super rare without spending more money, and there's a way to progress from super rare to uniques without spending more money. There is not a way to move from limiteds to rares realistically without spending more money.
So sorry, I'm just going to continue Johannatan's thing. He said kickoff rare is the worst competition on Sorare, and you won't get a rare goalkeeper with limited cards, maybe only in the month long. So Sean, when you say that there's a progression to go from rare to super rare and super rare to unique, does that include winning those cards or winning cards that you can then sell to buy the appropriate cards for the next step?
Winning those cards you can then sell to go to the next step. There's absolutely no way to progress by winning cards for the next step. Zero possibility. It literally does not exist.
Is it actually zero? Can you literally never win a goalie in 220?
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I fully assume the answer is no.
I mean, I'm going to go look.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was going to pull it up anyway.
But I think the answer is no. I don't think you can. It's not even that you can't win a goalie. You cannot win viable players to realistically move forward. Like it's just not a realistic option.
Do you think?
Like, I think I won.
Like, do you think it's good or bad that there's no way to go from limited to rare without spending more?
That's a valid question. I think it is both good and bad. You shouldn't be able to just like progress from one scarcity to the next by like, you shouldn't just be able to like fully progress with ease. But the fact you can literally not win a card that can actually help you in the next scarcity upwards is difficult. No matter what. Like, in my opinion, if you win, let's say something rare. If you win something rare, you should be able to move up and get like a good solid card super rare somehow. But you can't. Like, there's really no way to do that.
To win it, you basically have to do it in cap 240 and cap 270. like limited to win rares, right?
I don't win rares in Cat 240 rare limited.
Yes, you can.
Oh, is that new?
No, you could always win scarcity up.
Gotcha.
The problem is that at least for this, oh, that's a midweek. So let me go back. Hold on. I didn't want to misspeak.
Yeah. So if you win Cap 220 super rare on a weekend with everybody playing, you get a tier 3. That is the best card you can win.
Yeah, but we don't need Cap super rare is not the discussion.
I thought we were talking about super. You were originally saying like, can you move from Cap? I thought you were talking about Cap 220 super rare. You're talking Cap 220 limited.
220 has no progressive payout. Has no progressive.
That's not true. Cap 220 limited does. You win a. Oh yeah, there's nothing. There's no rares. No rares at all.
Yeah. So Cap 240 limited rewards tier 3 rares.
Yeah,
and that's where I'm like wondering if there are any goalies. Let's look at this. Is the.
I don't think tier 3 there's any goalies.
I would assume not.
Tier 2's the lowest the goalies go, I think.
Oh, here's Alex Bonner. You can get a backup for an off-season team. So highly, highly unlikely. And nobody actually helpful. So that's the problem, obviously.
Yeah.
270, Cap 270 limited.
Well,
oh, right. I like completely forgot about that too.
Yep. You definitely ain't win shit there. Because if you're having this, let's put it this way: if you're having this discussion, you're not winning Cap 270 month-long competition, most likely. Who's winning the Cap 270 month-long competition? Let's go look at that. I'm gonna go look at that right now because Hoodwink told me he was gonna win a Kane rare. That's what Hoodwink told me. So the dude who's winning its name is ZW Go Leska. So I'm gonna go check him out.
$6,800 gallery.
6,800 gallery in pure limiteds. No, he's got a few rares. No. It's mostly limiteds though.
Yeah, like, I mean it's somebody with Mbappe, Jude, and Haaland.
Yeah, he has every limited. Not every limited, but like he's got
the ones you want.
Got the ones you want. He's got Carlos Gil. So like he's set. Yeah, so like this guy's able to fire whatever the best possible lineups are in limited. This guy should probably already be playing rare, realistically. But that's a whole different discussion point. So the real answer, though, to your question is, so if you're trying to get up if you're trying to go from like any scarcity upwards to the next, you realistically have to buy. Whether that means you sell rewards and move upwards, that's fine. The issue is for you to get legit rewards in limiteds, like, I mean, it's just hard. It's really hard to hit tier zeros. Like you just aren't realistically going to hit tier zeros. And even tier zeros are probably, how much are tier 0 limiteds worth right now?
Like
what's a middle tier 0 limited worth? Like what's Onana worth?
I mean, that's a weird example, but
well, he's in the middle of tier 0. His limit's worth 0.038.
Yeah,
so like
$60-something.
Yeah, he's worth like $60. So the issue is like getting that is impossible. Not impossible. It's really freaking difficult to get that. And yeah, so Alex Wilson said you can get Tadic for like $50. So like for you to win enough cards to move from limited to rares is just difficult. I gotta check in the dogs real quick.
Sure. I think so I think the idea that you can win your way to the next level is gone. Like it's realistically unrealistic. And I think in that respect, now you're back to the what do I have to win to then sell to get the rares that I need to get to the next step. And that's the weird one. I'm going to get back to the chat here because We haven't touched it yet. Olaf said, just play Champion Europe with a full Bayern stack, solved it. So like if you had Kimmich this week, it probably didn't solve it. So that's the problem. Ben said, I just did this in August, which I assume is going from rare, limited to rare. Oh wait, Johannaton, we already went through that. Unique beating. So Tuggy, unique beating 50 way easier than 500. That's true. So Ben, who did this earlier, said, what I did is thus far work, but it's slow. I slowly built a sizable limited gallery and had some success in winning. Best result was 16th in All-Star Limited. And yeah, Germ said kickoff is meant to progress to 220, which I don't like that.
Yeah, it's rough. Sorry about that. The dog. I heard the girl dog being a dumbass.
No worries. Ben said, I'm catching up on Ben. He said, I then sold my gallery for 400 and bought a Cap 240 team. I've now won the threshold 6 times in 8 weekends, which is crazy. In 240 and building from there. So like, Sean, I feel like the first consideration, I'm going to before we even get into like how to do it, do you think it is necessary is not the right word, but do you think it's worthwhile for people to, if they're playing limiteds right now, to basically play limiteds until they are maxed out in terms of contests they can play and then go to rare? Or is that not even that necessary?
I don't know. It's difficult because like the prizes and limiteds are just really difficult to hit. I think you should be moving up to Cap 240 rare a lot quicker. Like I think when you can get into Cap 240 rare, you should be in Cap 240 rare. It's kind of what my thoughts are. Because that threshold is worth like a tier 0 limited.
Yeah.
Like yeah, which is just tier 0. Yeah, that's a pretty I think you need to be in Cap 240 rare as quickly as you can. And then realistically, I mean, you want to be in Cap 240 super rare too, but that's a bit trickier. Like I think to get there, you got to have a decent sized gallery. Like the issue is like to get into Cap 240 rare and like have a consistent lineup there, I think you need to probably put in like $1,000. But Ben or someone just said a little bit ago, I'm trying to see who it was, but they said they had like a $400 gallery and they
that was Ben, yeah.
Yeah, it's Ben. And
but Mike here basically sums it up. And he says the way to progress without spending more is to sell all of the scarcity below to buy the scarcity above. Sell 500, sell 100 limiteds to get 20 rares. Then sell your 20 rares to get 10 super. It's like you're basically you are progressing, you're not building, if that makes sense. Like you're actually ending up with fewer cards the higher you go.
Watt was telling me, he's sitting there, he's like, my intention is to get and play the highest level. I'm like, I don't know, your intention should just be to win money. Like that should be your intention. Whatever the best ROI is should be your intention realistically to some extent. So like, and I will say, so Rare Holland sort of says it, and I do think that this is true. Not having a limited plus is a detriment to limiteds because it removes spots where you can play limited cards to some extent. You can play rares in so many more spots because of rare plus than limited. So like limited, you cap out at X amount of competitions, whereas rare plus you have way more competitions you can enter those cards in. I mean, see, Kev gets it. He's kept all his limiteds and he put more money in. Kev gets it. You just put more money in. You spend more.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so Ben went from 50 limiteds to 6 rare. So Ben, is your plan once you, let's say, get from like 6 rares to 50 rares, would your intention then be to move from, let's say, rares into super rares? Like, would that be your next like plan progression in that option? But the issue is just like, for me, rare threshold is the best spot you can probably be on the platform right now.
So
Cap 240 rare, right?
Yeah. So this is the problem that I have with limited plus. So star rares probably are valued where you can get competitive super rares, not elite super rares, but you can get decent super rares for the. You cannot get decent rares for the price of star limiteds.
No, correct.
And limited plus is like, the idea is that the most you can win is Onana.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then the only reason for it really is just another place to play limited cards.
Yeah, but that is.
And if you want people to buy rares, you don't want to give them more reason to play more limiteds. Right?
Yeah, that's valid. But I'm talking about from a user perspective, not like a.
So am I. But so am I. Like, why? What is the benefit of me having more limited cards to play in limited plus so that I can win more limiteds? Like, it's not helping me get to rare at all.
That's not true. It's helping you because you're in theory winning more, so therefore you're getting closer to rare because you're winning more and you can sell more.
I mean, hypothetically, you're winning.
Hypothetically,
more, like, yeah.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Yeah, you're winning more.
I don't even know what I win in limited because I don't pay attention. I literally hide my limiteds every weekend when the contests start. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah.
Which I believe.
Yeah, Kev makes some sense here too. I like the limited or the specialist and the underdog contest from a perspective of, I know your issue with the underdog. Specialist was better.
No, I actually had a bigger issue with specialist than I did underdog.
So my issue with specialist is it should have been done like how the NBA does their stuff, with it being like a cap mode that is like sort of different than the cap mode they're running in football, but similar. Like you need to, yeah, it's. I understand your issue with the specialist is like once your card turns from a 40 to a 41, it's complete shitbox and it's useless. And you had to be below. Same thing if you were like a 60 card and then you turn to a 61, you become useless. Not as useless, obviously, as like a card that went from 40 to 41. Like 40 to 41, it was just you're done. You just never use that card again.
Like 270 is specialist with a total points cap.
I don't think it's specialist. I think it's 240 specialist.
But I'm saying like you can, if you wanted to play like multiple guys at 42, like, and those are your two lowest, you could not play that in specialist.
I mean, I think to me too,
rules are so much better.
Here's an issue, I guess.
Doing the math here, 350s, a 60, because you could used to be able to have a 60 player.
It wasn't
right? You could have 1 over 60.
It was 2 under 40s, and it was 2.
It was only 1. Was it only 1? I thought it was 1 over 40, 1 under 40, and 1 over 60.
Well, then that would make it like 250, not 270.
Right, but that's more than 240.
Yeah, in between. Here's a comment I have that I think is part of a discussion point. Why do we have so many contests where the prize pool is just so dog shit?
It's really just kickoff and 220 that's bad.
They're so bad though. Like, why have them? Let me rephrase that. Not why have them. Why have the prize pools be so freaking horrendous? Because they are so bad. Like, they are so bad. And I'm not saying like that they should be amazing. It's always been my opinion that if you win a contest, it doesn't really matter what it is. If you win a contest, Germ said that I was right and that it was 2 under 40s. And so it was a 240 cap effectively. Just done in different ways. So like cap 240 is better than that in theory. So like they basically turned specialists into threshold effectively. But anyways, in my opinion, if you win a competition, if you win cap 220, it's still hard as shit to win it, right? Like it's not easy to win cap 220. Like same thing with unique kick or the kickoff competitions. Like they're not easy to win. You should be able to win a good card if you win a competition. You should not be capped out at like, you win. Yeah, you just killed everyone and you won, and here's your shit box. No matter what, you get a shit box. That to me sucks. To me,
220 is a tier 1. I think that's fine.
At the lower level or at the like limited and rare levels, like if super rare is a tier 3.
Oh, okay.
Like the higher you get, it's just shit. I think you should pull a little bit of the higher ends, not a lot, just a little bit of the higher end stuff from elsewhere and give it there, and then give some of the back end trash to those competitions. So like instead of paying 100 in All-Star Rare Plus, you pay 125, but instead of like the top end like 20 tier 1s and tier 0s, you give like 17 tier 1s and tier 0s. Because like you shouldn't be guaranteed to win shit if you win a competition. That's my thoughts with the platform as a whole. Like you should not be guaranteed to win trash no matter what if you win a competition. And that's an issue that I have. Like, what's Cap 220 Limited get this week?
I misclicked on the Halloween special. I was trying to click something else, and I noticed that the first place doesn't have a error card. Anyway, Cap 220 Limited gets a Star Limited.
Yeah, so Cap 220 Rare gets a tier 1 and then 4 tier 2s. Everything else is tier 3 or below. And Cap 220 Super Rare is a tier 3 for the win. You got to be able to give a little bit more juice in these competitions if you want people to care about them.
You don't really think limited and rare prize pool is that bad for first place?
I think limited is fine. I think rare is terrible. You should be able to get a star in rare if you win Cap 220.
Come on. No, you shouldn't.
You should. It's difficult to win. I've not won it. I don't think. Maybe I have. I don't know. I've won Cap 220 Super Rare. I'm not saying you give a tier 0 in Super Rare, but you could give a tier 2 or a tier 1 or something.
Regardless of Super Rare, not enough people are playing that. But like, I don't think you should be able to win a star rare in 220 rare.
You should be able to win a star in every competition you play at the rare and limited level. You should win. You should have a chance to win a card of value, not no shot.
I think a tier 1 rare is fine.
No.
Well, with using garbage cards to win it.
No, like if I have Ruben Diaz in there, you think he sucks? You bought him.
It's one good card you have in there.
I have Milan Skriniar.
In the Manchester Derby, it's not even a good matchup.
They play Man United. Man United sucks. Where's Tuggy? Tuggy knows Man United sucks. Yeah. They ran out freaking Evans and Harry Maguire. Like, you can't tell me Man United's not horrendous. Don't give me that shit. Every first place in limited and rare should be a star.
I mean, Kevin agrees with you. If you said top 20 should get a star, everyone's going to agree with you.
No, I don't think top 20 should get it. I think top 1. Like, if you win the competition, you should be able to get a star.
In limited and rare?
Yeah. It's difficult at Super. Like, it's Super, you should probably be able to win a tier 2. You should at least be able to win a tier 2. The fact that at Super level you cannot win a card above 0.3 ETH is pretty rough. Yeah, they're talking about the second goal. I did actually see the second goal.
Yeah. Anyway, to the point of,
I don't understand why people are playing Cap 220 unless you have a shitload of cards. I just don't really see the point. Like, people legit prioritize the kickoff stuff, and I don't understand that one at all. Like, Watt won kickoff unique last week, and he's like, look at this guy. He looks like a steaming pile of shit. He's like, yeah, he's gonna help me get the threshold. I'm like, no, he's not.
So you think he should get a star for that?
No, not at all. But like, literally, you get a tier 4 unique. What's the point of that?
I mean, we know that going in.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Like, surprised anybody.
Why do people play it?
I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't play it.
Like, it's so bad.
So Rajess said the old rare underdog used to give a star rare. That was the actual reason to buy tier 4s and 5s each week.
I mean, it did. I know you hate that stuff, though. You hate shit cards being worthwhile.
I mean, I know you need them, but I did think that was, well, really it was the actual individual player cap that I didn't like.
Yeah, so you prefer the cap mode over the underdog and
like, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like it's fine.
Like you should have a significantly bigger benefit if you have somebody who has an L15 of 0, like Neuer this week, versus somebody who's an L15 of 39 because they're just always bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex Wilson said Cap 220 limited this week was a Bayern stack with Koke. I think you could argue that was a terrible place to play a Bayern stack.
I played my Neuer in Cap. I played my Neuer limited in Cap 220 rare.
Your Neuer limited in Cap 220. I believe that.
Yeah.
For you, that's fine.
Yeah, for me, it's fine.
So the 220 first place was Neuer limited.
Makes sense.
Excuse me, Neuer common. I don't know why I don't just show this. This is it. Sané, Delict, Musial, and Koke.
Yep.
I get.
Yeah.
So back to the other thing. Do you think you should max out on every competition in a scarcity before you move up?
No, I think the Cap 240s are just really good. I think you should be playing the Cap 240s before you play every region. Like if you have the ability to move up to the next Cap 240, I think you do it before you go into every region.
Right.
I think you agree with that too.
Yeah. It's just by far the easiest way to accumulate money.
So Jerem actually brings up a good point too that I've been meaning to say for this. I don't know why football does L15s the way they do it instead of like how the basketball product does it. So those unfamiliar with the basketball product, your L15 is it's an L10 in basketball, but the basketball product is L10 and the last 10 games you played. So
yeah, it's your L10.
Yeah, it's your L10, not like you missed 10 games because of an injury and then you are at the 0, which is a cheat code card. I agree with that entirely. I think that that's how it should be done. Do you agree with that one?
I'm not like passionate about it, but I think it's fine.
Joe P just said, what's better, All-Star Rare Pro or 240 Super Rare? Probably 240 Super Rare. Just getting the thresholds. Like if you can consistently hit thresholds everywhere, it's good. Like right now, like I think that's the most important thing you could have on the platform is just be able to consistently just hit thresholds, right? Because if you hit that, you can do whatever you want with the funds.
Right.
So like, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I think there are most galleries on the platform that compete in All-Star Rare Plus, are probably better off playing 240 Super Rare. The goalie's the biggest in every scarcity, but the goalie is really the hindrance in that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely. I mean, they also like another thing that's nice about it, right? Is that there's no you're not playing against people to hit the threshold. You're playing against yourself hitting the threshold. So it's like it doesn't matter what everyone else does. If you put up your 280 points, you get your threshold. So I think that there's a lot of merit to go into the 240s. I mean, Cap 240 at every level is probably the best competition, except for when you get up to uniques, because I think that it's just really hard to win a card there also. And the amount you're getting for the thresholds is different, right? Like it goes from $5, 10x to 50, 4x to 200, 2.5x to unique. So like as you go up, it gets worse. So I think it drops off a little bit in the unique level because like getting a card in Cap 240 unique is really, really, really difficult. If you put up a good score in Cap 240 Super, you're going to get a card, and then you're also going to get a card in limited and rare. So it loses its luster as you go all the way to the top. But I think Cap 240 Super Rare is a reasonable spot to move into.
Unique 240 top prize too is a tier 3.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not terrible. Like it's a usable card, but it's not great.
Right.
Like you're capped out. Like as you move up, the card is irrelevant. Like if you win Cap 240 rare, which is obviously difficult to do, but if you do it, I think you get tier 0, right?
And a tier 3 super rare.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. If you get a card, if you win Cap 240 super rare, it's great as well. If you win Cap 240 unique, it's like, it's not great.
Yeah.
So I would
Well, I
definitely.
mean, you can't progress anymore. Like they can't make the prize that much better. Like there's nothing after the unique.
Yeah,
You're not winning anything above.
they could give a unique that wasn't a tier 3.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I think they viewed 240 and the same 270. Like, you get whatever scarcity you're playing in and one up. You can't, there is no scarcity up in unique. And I mean, they're not going to start just giving away tier 1 uniques.
So investor Durr asked, how much money do you think is needed to jump into rare Cat 240 coming from limiteds? I mean, I think if you put in $1,000, you can be pretty confidently in the Cap 240 rare mode at this
I
point.
think so.
Yeah, like I think you can get it done pretty. Germ actually here. Germ brings up a great point. It's the exact reason I'm wearing it. Germ says couldn't have picked a worse day for the St. Louis City jersey. I'm wearing it because of how bad they played last night to support Jimmer and Andy Black and their depression.
Ricomon said you don't even need $1,000.
Yeah, you could probably do it for under 1,000. Germ says 500 can easily make it as well.
Well, hold on. Can make an off-season 240 team. So you're not
Yeah.
actually starting to win until March.
Yeah, Kev said he did it for $600, 500 of which was on 2 goalies. So, like, yeah, I mean, you could definitely do it. I was more so saying, like, 100% confident I'm not going to have to really worry about it. I think 1,000. I think you could do it for less.
Yeah.
600 to 800 probably. And you can get away with having 1 goal. There's lots of rare cards you can buy that are pretty reasonable cards for that competition. For like, I mean, I've been winning. I've looked at some of the cards I win, and like I'll win cards that are like, oh, this card isn't bad, and it's worth 0.02 ETH, right? It's worth like a threshold. And if you buy the card and you want it, like, so I won Ryan Bania Laird, who you've never heard of. I'm sure I obviously haven't as well. But he has an L15 of 46. He's a center back for Trabzonspor, but he missed like a couple games, but otherwise he starts every game. Looks pretty solid, right? He's probably about 0.02 ETH. So he's pretty much like, you can buy a bunch of cards for like $50, I think, that are really solid options. Juju said you can do it also for 250 without a goal. Yeah, but that's just being stupid, honestly. You're just like, you're basically turning 250 into like 500 instead of like 500 into 2000. So like doing it that way is just really dumb. I get it if you don't have the money that you do it that way, but it's just pissing away a lot of money for no reason if you can make it happen. Not having a goal is just a really not by. I laugh every time I see people be like, I hit it without a goalie. It's like, okay, you were dumb. Who cares? Like, move on. Because like if you say like I did it without the goalie and I'm not getting the job done, you're just dumb. Investor Der Sass is stacking good in 240 super rare or 240 rare. I'm sorry. No, just get players that preferably you want to have similar leagues, but you don't have to. It's more about stacking leagues that play at the same time than players on the same team.
You're basically stacking schedule.
Yeah.
Like you just want to make sure that your guys are always playing at the same time.
Yeah, your goal is with like Cap
go.
240 rare, right? Is to like have guys playing all year. So like eventually, like let's say you're buying European guys now, the objective should be to then start buying American and Asian players so that they can pick up in the summer, so that you always have a Cap 240 lineup going at all times.
Yeah, I would say just the biggest key is because you're not going to have that much goalkeeper depth. And so just make sure that your outfield players play when your goalies do.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than having a goalie and having like missing an outfield player.
Correct.
Being like, oh, that's where I have to fill the hole.
Correct. Germ said 280 with 4 players plus bonus is much more difficult than it seems on paper. The thing is here's the issue. If you don't have a goalie, you have to average 60 a person into the other 4 guys. And if you have 60 average players, like they're going to cost you as much as having like a goalie and a bunch of 50 average players. So it just doesn't make much sense to me to not run a goalie. Laird, are you there? I just am not sure if you're there. If you're okay.
I am, but I'm not sure.
No, that's fine. I can hear you. I just want to know if you were actually still there, if I needed to just keep talking. There you go. You're back.
I don't know what's going on.
So yeah, I mean, basically if people are running stuff without a goalie, they're just doing stuff it's really stupid. If they can have a goalie, if they don't have the funds to have a goalie and that's their only path into it, okay, I get it. But like the issue is like there are going to be so many times where you not having the goalie is going to cost you the threshold, where if you had a goalie, you would have hit the threshold, that it just makes sense to buy the goalie and then figure it out from there. And we've talked about this a couple times before.
I mean, just fundamentally, it's like, hey, would you like to try to score 280 points with 4 cards or 5?
Correct. And it also means, like, if you're having 60 average players, they're going to cost more typically than 50 average players. So it's just one of those things that, like,
right.
It just doesn't, that's just not as good.
Yeah, Alex is saying having a forward that averages 60 is really, really hard.
Having anybody that averages 60 is really hard.
Yeah, that's true.
60 is a pretty high-end score. Like, there's not many guys on the platform that average 60.
Where did that? Steph said, why progressing? The cards you love want are more expensive and it costs more money playing for fun. Plus card prices are going down. And is it good for Sorare if cap 240 is the priority for managers? There's a lot.
I mean, it's horrendous for Sorare if people don't want to progress. If people aren't incentivized to progress, then that just ends the platform. Well, if everybody is like, I am cool playing for pennies and I don't want to progress, that's bad.
I also think that most people play 240, and I think the more common belief is the opposite of what I'm about to say. But more people play 240 so that they can use that to buy better cards. Very few people are like winning thresholds and withdrawing every game week. And everybody probably knows a few people who do, but most people, the money stays on the platform so they can buy new cards, including the scarcity above.
Yeah. Because they want to play the next threshold up, right? Like they want to get to the next level or whatever. Yeah. If you do not progress and you do not, if everybody's goal on the platform is not to progress, that's horrendous for Sorare. But in terms of like, why are people progressing? The cards you love want are cheaper at the scarcity below. Playing for peanuts doesn't excite me at all. Like I just have no interest in it at all. Also, on the counter, I don't give a shit about Mbappe. I hate watching Mbappe. I would much rather watch like Gank than watch Mbappe. I know I'm in the minority in this, but like I don't want to watch a PSG game and watch Mbappe be a loser all game. I want to watch Gank just go up and down the field, both teams just having chance after chance, having an exciting game. And like actually like know more players than I'm just going to run out Mbappe and bore myself to sleep. Like that's not exciting to me. So like, but I understand
why I don't have one.
I know Surface has said this before. Surface enjoys like watching the studs. He wants to watch like Mbappe. He wants to watch like the top end teams play. I don't enjoy that as much. I'd much rather watch like the Belgian league or the Dutch league personally. But again, like I'm in a minority on that. But I think everyone's opinions and stuff is different.
Yeah, of course.
So
Alex is saying, is there any demand for people to progress to super rare? Because I don't think I ever will. I know plenty of people who at least for threshold, for sure.
I would argue more people in the last 6 months have wanted to progress from rare to super rare than wanted to progress from limited to rare.
So the biggest, I don't know if it's a problem, but the biggest issue, I'll call it, of people who want to progress from rare to super rare is that they do it in order to win super rare thresholds to then buy better rares. Yeah. Like they're not doing it to like start competing in the super rare division. It's just for the threshold to help them afford better rares.
That's not true. I've seen people that have moved from the rares to super rares that just want to play super rares.
I mean, it's like 3 people.
I know more than 3 people.
I'll give you 5.
5 that we know in our like immediate circle that have done it.
Yeah, but I think most people are absolutely not playing super rare threshold in order to then get enough money to play super rare divisions all over.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean
you're right. We do know some people who have just.
I mean, look. All right, here's a whale problem, right? Okay, we're gonna go to my gallery, Laird. So you're gonna bring this up here. So this is I'm gonna put the disclaimer here. This is a whale problem. # whale problems. But like this is the issue with the super rare division and why it's not exciting. All right, we're gonna go to manager stats here, Laird, or SO5 stats, whichever one's under. I can't remember. And we're gonna go look at what I won last week. Look at the super rares that I've been winning lately, and look at like where I'm finishing. And this is the problem. Like, I finished 2nd in America Super. I get Steve Clark. Finish third in Asia Super. I win Kim Dong Min. I get like fourth in Champ Europe Super. I win Pascal Gross. I win second in America Unique. I get Marco Illich. I get a U23 fourth, so like top. Like you're just not. I would get first in Cap 220 Super, which we've already gone over that one. But like, and I'm not actually. Yeah. So Mike Basson brings up Ruben Vezo. I won that one, and I think that's a much better card than where I finished. Go look at that guy, Laird, the Ruben Vezo guy. I won him, and I was like this. He was like a tier 5, but go look at his like scoring.
I know all about this guy, Sean.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah, so I won that one. I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm not making fun of Gross at all. Alex is bringing up Gross. Gross is a great player, and Gross is really solid. But like, this is the problem with the Super Rare division is you just like don't win cards that are appealing to you. So the issue is like this is the issue that a lot of people have. You do. There you go, Laird. Do you want to buy my Super Rare?
Maybe.
I'll sell them for 1 ETH.
Maybe. Oh, that seems like a lot.
That's like 1% of a Joao Felix.
If you want to make that trade at that value, you can just throw in some other cards and we'll be good.
But yeah, so like I said, like you just at the super level, you just win cards that are just not exciting to win, and then you're like, they're not generally worth that much, and it's not like it just is what it is. But that's why like there's a lot of progression issues because like you move up, and like that week I had like 5 top 5s in super divisions. It was just random as shit. Tuggy wants to buy Illich. Tuggy, I will sell you Illich if you want to buy Illich. But yes, Brad, I'm not trying to have someone.
I'm with Brad on this one.
But I'm not trying to have people feel bad or like feel sorry for me there. That's not what the intention is. The intention is like that is what you get for having like the best. That was arguably, Laird, my best weekend I've ever had on the platform. Arguably. Go look at the week.
Yeah, finish-wise you did.
Yeah, finish-wise, like that was the best. Mike Bass said we could all progress if Sean stops hoarding cards. I have a lot of cards. I actually sold quite a few cards this week. I sold my Purvis Estupinian this week.
But like Cellini, huh?
So again, the point is not to feel bad because they don't feel bad. Like that's not how it is. The point is more so like that's what stops progression. Because if I'm someone like, let's say I'm Laird and I have like 20 ETH because I'm a whale to come into stuff and I want to move into the super rares. And then I'm like, all right, let me go look at what people are getting for super rares. And then I go look at what I won last week and I'm like, why do I want to go win this shit? Like that's just some stuff that isn't super interesting. So it's just that's more of the issue. So again, this wasn't to be like, oh, hey, sucks to be Sean. I don't give a shit about that. Like it was a good week. It's still like you guys said, Brad brings it up. I can sell 3 or 4 of them and get like an ETH and then go buy something that I want to get. But the point is like if that's what you get for the best possible results you've had in 3 years on the platform as someone who does really freaking well, and you just get a bunch of stuff that is like you can go sell it and then buy something that's okay, that stunts progression and stunts people wanting to go into those levels because it's just not really that rewarding.
I think kind of a weird thing, Alex brings this up back to the point of people buying super rares. I just don't think your average manager wants to commit to such a large financial outlay with super rares, but maybe I see it differently. I think you are right. What is kind of interesting to me though is kind of what I said before. The people play super rare 240 in order to be able to afford better rares.
Yes.
The people who play rare, who go from limited to rare 240, win that threshold to buy rares. Like they don't do it to then go back and buy better limiteds. Like there does seem to be a desire to progress from limited to rare, and you use 240 rare to do that, which is a plus. But super rare is the opposite. Like it all leads back to just buying more rares. Like you play super rare 240 and rare 240 in order to accumulate ETH or cash, whatever, to buy better rares. And that's why at least like 240 rare seems like a progressive move, but super rare doesn't. So when you go from like what we were saying, if you want to go from limited to rare 240 is like paramount. Like you should do that as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
like start playing All-Star Limited and then be like, oh, let me play Challenger and let me play U23 and let me play America and Asia and 270 and like just try to get to rare 240 as
Yeah.
fast as possible.
Yeah, I agree. I think that should be everyone's goal. You should basically go like limited. You should basically be like limited 240, and then like run like limited 240, limited 220, limited All-Star, move into All-Star or limited or cap 240 rare as quickly as possible, and move that way. So SoStar says the rare market is incredibly liquid. The limited market is flooded. I agree with that. I think the limited market is just like total path to zero, whereas the rare market for some cards at least is like a little bit better. Also, I see that Jeremy Frimpong joined chat a little bit ago. Did you see that? Sorry, my bad. Jeremy Frimpong fraud Chani has joined the chat. Did you see that shit this week? He's out here playing Grimaldo over Frimpong, Laird.
Captained him.
Yeah.
I don't know
Failed.
who would do that. That's crazy.
Failed. But yeah, he was not true to himself. He
I just
went
know
out there.
one of those guys had a decisive and scored more than the other, and the
Yeah,
other was Grimaldo.
Exactly. He didn't go out there and play that guy. He played the other guy that he said is worse. You know, it's very unfortunate.
Investor, did you call this Investor Dur before or DUR?
What is Investor Dur?
But anyway, back to playing 240 efficiently. I think somebody was like, how many cards do you need? And
10-ish.
Yeah.
I think 10-ish. 10-ish that are in the same league to play every
Sounds like
weekend.
you're saying tennis weirdly.
No, Chani, what we learned from this is that you listen to Sean like every time, you'll be right like 90% of the time, because that's how frequently Grimaldo beats Frimpong.
This is it. Yeah. Alex.
Yeah, Alex Wilson says buy a pool of 10 to 20 guys. I agree. I think you don't think you need 20 per se. I think you get like a couple goalies and then you play then you have like a pool of like 8 to 10 guys. So I think like 10 to 12. But like you could definitely go shorter. It's just obviously like the more shallow you are, the more difficult it is to get the right plays in the right spots. And honestly, I do think that there's merit to not stacking per se, because then you're going to have guys in good matchups all the time instead of like you have a stack that just has a horrendous matchup and you're just kind of screwed for that week. But like you're going to have injury issues, you're going to have DNP issues, you're going to have suspension issues, so you're going to have to move out of it a little bit. Now Mike Basson says you need 10 to 20 to cover the whole year. So that's a whole different sort of point. I think if you're trying to play it like year round with like guys, you start out with like 8 to 10, then you move into like a group of like 20 with like MLS guys, Asia guys, Europe guys, so that you can cover more broad part of the year.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think
because you want to play it all year. And there's definitely like no matter who you play, whether it's European or American or Asian cards, you're gonna have like a 3-month window that you don't really have guys. And all it does by bringing in like other guys like that is it just improves your time during the overlap season as well. And Alex brings in the then you have to factor in midweeks. Yeah, so like eventually midweeks become a bit tricky. The issue is like midweeks are tricky in general. And like once you're looking at guys that are in midweek games, especially in Europe, that have the most midweek games, you end up having teams that rotate. So like if you play like Liverpool guys, like they rotate heavily because they're in Europa, or you go by like City guys. Well, the City guys are really expensive. They rotate too. Or like Bayern guys. Well, then you're buying expensive players, and that's not really the objective of what you're trying to do here.
Second division, my man.
Yeah, second division makes a lot more sense. Yes. Yep. Agreed. Yeah,
I agree with Mike here. Stay away from Russia and Austria. Those winter breaks are just brutal.
They are, but they start earlier, and you get some parts of the season where they play and others don't. So it is about. But like, if you are looking, in my opinion,
you probably already have cards from that time anyway. Like if you're playing America, Asia, you don't need European cards that start in July.
Can you hear the baby going off, Laird?
Yes.
He just got back from a doctor's appointment. I'm sure he's having a good time. So yeah, it's basically like it's one of those things that I think like the best way to approach it is to go second division, America, Asia. That's like what I would try to do to get the cat mode. Like you want
certainly the cheapest way to do it.
But it's the best way to do it too, right? The cheapest is the best in that situation.
It's also there are plenty of guys in those divisions that can go off. So it's not like you're just like you're not targeting 281 points every week. Like you could end up having big scores that get you cards that you can then help with your lineups in the future, sell them, whatever. Like I've changed my opinion on, and I'm curious if you have. Do you still think that playing 240 and aiming to score 280 points is still the optimal way to play?
Yeah, it's still, yeah, you're not trying to put up like 350. Like you're trying to get the threshold. Like you obviously want to hit the threshold, but like as this type of person that we're talking about that's trying to get the threshold, you're trying to hit the threshold. And honestly, like something that I think is more impactful now, obviously with the captaincy, is having like a big smasher in your lineup. If you can make it fit, really helps because you can captain them and they get such juice on them as a play.
In 270?
Cap 240.
Oh, I mean, it's just a regular captain.
Yeah, but it's still impactful. Like you didn't used to have a captain. Like it used to be like every player just got no XP. But now with the XP edition, like if you get like a 30% XP on a guy that is a smasher, it really can help. So
Yeah,
I think that like being able to put in like a 65 player that's a smasher is really helpful.
Yeah, I've changed my opinion that I think it's okay to try to win cap 240.
I mean, you just want to get your threshold. Like, obviously, the goal is to get your threshold. Like that.
Well,
saying
yeah, that's the primary goal.
I'm more open to playing though, like a Callum McGregor type that is like the guy's 60 average and is probably going to put up between 55 and 60. Then put up a guy whose average is like, or who has like an L40 or L15 of 60, but his range is like 40 to 90. Like, I'd rather play that guy who's got a good matchup elsewhere than play him there sometimes. It depends. Every week's different, right? That's another thing. I think people get stuck on, like, what should my lineup be? And in reality, your lineup should be different every week.
Which is why you need 8 to 10 players at least. Red or Dead said, I have MLS and some J1 rares, which I've been playing in cap 220 and 40, but no playing keeper is my issue now. That is an issue.
Yeah, we talked about the no playing keeper. You should have a keeper. Not having a keeper in the long run just costs you a lot of money.
Yeah. Mike said, I want a 20% safety net on points for those Opta bastards. Anyway, what's up, Quinny? Yeah. There we go, Alex. If Guzan gets a next to the new contract, man.
Yeah, you have a Guzan super, don't you? I can't even make a super lineup in the midweek, Laird.
You can't?
Nope.
Such a fish.
You should let me buy the Guzan off you.
You can have that and João Felix for the 100 ETH or whatever it is.
That's a massive discount, to be fair.
That's a good point. Germ said MLS teams in CONCACAF Champions League that have a good shot at playoffs next year, along with Leagues Cup, will play consistently from beginning of February to late October with minimal breaks. Turkey, Scotland, second division breaks.
Yeah, they don't.
Germ, that's such dangerous advice, though. Like those guys will.
The way the MLS works, though, is a dumpster fire because you have to play people. You just have to run them into the ground.
No, there's plenty of guys who end up sitting. Like you have your Lucha Acosta, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's not playing anymore.
They sit, but they still have to play a shitload because there's no alternatives.
I guess. 45 game weeks of utility. Mike Basson said, I traded Guzan for Rafael Romo and so happy I did. I think I did the opposite like 2 years ago when he was at DC, Romo, and at the time I was happy. Tuggy said, is Guzan allowed to double dip with Social Security payments too? I can't make one because he's definitely younger than me.
Laird already does that.
Yeah. Oh, he's way younger than me.
Yeah, Laird already collects like Social Security and SorareData checks. He's just collecting double dipping already.
Yeah. I can't win Cap 270 super rare, so that's why I need these checks.
I can't win Cap 270 super rare either.
Investor said U23 Cap 240 would make sense.
No.
Heavens no.
Definitely not.
Do you think it's worse to use U23 players in Cap 240 or Champion Europe?
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever fits on the weekend.
You want the cheapest players possible.
No, I don't. Well, yes. For this situation, yes. I'm going to see what I played there this week. I don't even know what I played. I think I'm going to hit the caps. I'm going to hit the Cap 240 super rare threshold most likely. Let's go see what I ran there, Laird.
I ran all of them.
I ran Someone actually said McGregor is too expensive to run there. That is false. I ran him there this week. So here's my Cap 240 Super team this week, Laird. Mark Flecken.
Heard of him?
Yep, he did well this week. Put up 67 because Chelsea sucks, which they typically suck. Gaston Hernandez, which he plays tonight. I need 40 from him. Thibaut Desmet, who had a good matchup this week, put up 53.
Sounds
Callum McGregor put up his 51, and Corey Baird. I'm on pace to hit it with one decisive, that being from my goalie.
That's all you need, usually.
Yep. And I should hit it easily. I mean, Hernandez should put that up. Like, if he hits his average, I'll put up like 310 with one decisive. Victor.
Investor was asking for a new league. That's what it was. U23 Cap 240.
Oh, yeah. That's
not going to happen.
Charlie says, I like a goaltender defense stack in 240. Yeah, I just don't really care that much there, I guess.
Did Charlie say goaltender?
Yeah, he said goaltender. It says
is there a K?
He
says
a
K in the word goaltender.
I mean, I see either GT or Tendy. I mean, Charlie, did you mean GT or Tendy? Which one did you mean?
Must be a silent K.
Yeah.
Victor said, I think collections can pay off in 240 rare. Just one team is bad, but focusing on having players from just 2 to 3 teams gives an extra percentage from collection score, also gives more flexibility with L15s. I think any collection score helps.
Yeah.
Make your cards score more points.
Correct. The issue is if you're actually spending resources on guys you can never use, that's not helpful. But if you're buying guys,
I wouldn't say it's not helpful, but it's probably not ideal.
It's limited helpful.
Yeah.
Limited helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, Charlie said GT. See. Yeah. Germ, goaltender. The K is silent. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Alex wants to know how we've not talked about Carlos Gil. I actually did talk about Carlos Gil earlier.
Because we're talking about Cap 240. That's why.
No, yeah, but if you can run Carlos Gil in Cap 240 and captain him, that's always helpful.
Server said, would you play an okay-ish All-American Super Rare team this week in America, D2 or All-Star Super Rare? Which is funny that he used D2 and then Super Rare division. Whatever the strength score says.
Probably no. I'd probably run it in All-Star Super Rare. There's not many options there. So here's my issue, like on a midweek where you run into shit like that. Surface, if it helps you, I cannot make a team in Super at all. I literally cannot make a team. But so here's the thing: is like,
you know why?
Because I don't have a Brad who's on Super Rare. I don't have Brad who's on Super. So like the issue is like in Champion America Super Rare, if you win, you get a tier 2. That's just not really worth much. Like a tier 2 in America is just worth nothing. So I would rather play it in All-Star. If they pop off, at least I get like a tier 1 and I get a lot of good stuff. Plus, you can finish 10th and get ETH.
Oh, we were commenting in on the preview show this morning. It was morning for me. That the 30th place finisher in All-Star Rare wins more ETH or cash than 3rd place in Challenger.
Yeah.
Like podium Challenger is less than 30th in All-Star.
Yeah, like 10th in All-Star Super in the midweek is probably worth more than 1st. No, not 1st, but it's worth probably more than 2nd in America Super Rare. So like I'd rather run my stuff in Global All-Star.
Surface is worried about the Celtic boys.
Oh, you should be worried about the Celtic boys. Go talk to Quinny. Maybe talk to Quinny and tell him to go run his Celtic boys in Challenger instead.
I talked to Quinny about it. He's not going to do it.
Yeah. No, I'd run it in gas. Your risk reward is just much higher in Global All-Star.
I mean, that's always the case, though.
Alex said at least nobody's scared of Ajax. I'd be scared of Ajax in the midweek. They play at home against Volendam. I would definitely be worried about Ajax in the midweek. I think Ajax the biggest favorite of the teams in the midweek?
No, it's Celtic.
Yeah, Ajax is 2nd.
Yeah, they're frauds, though.
Well, are they really even frauds? Because everyone thought they were going to suck this year.
Not this bad.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, everyone keeps being like they're going to get relegated. I don't think they're going to get relegated. I don't think they're that bad. Like, obviously they suck, but I don't think they're that bad. They're going to get relegated. I think they'll figure enough out that they won't get relegated.
mean, Volendam has won twice as many games as Ajax this year, Sean.
They've played 2 times more than them, though.
No, well, just one. Just one.
Oh, yeah. Well, after tomorrow, after the midweek, Volendam will be behind them in the standings.
Maybe. That's right, Alex. Table don't lie.
Yeah, table doesn't lie. True. Table is factually correct.
Kev said, I have a Celtic stack in All-Star Limited, only 3% collection bonus and last season's card, so I'm doing nothing this week. Yeah, who was it? Oh, it was Dylan in Champion America this week. Yeah, it has the same line. He's in third right now. He has a lineup against somebody who's in first. Same lineup, but they have new season cards, and so they win.
Yep.
It happens. Let's buy more cards. I agree with Sorare Holland here that Ajax PSV will never get relegated.
I'd be shocked if Ajax get relegated.
Yeah, of course.
I'd be shocked. I might try to go to an Ajax game in the spring, Laird.
Fun?
You gonna join me?
No.
We'll see.
Oh, and Feyenoord. Agreed. Yeah. I
watched the AZ game. Oh my god, I was watching the AZ game yesterday. Actually, it pisses me off more because afterwards my line became really good. But so, anyways, if Sugawara gets a decisive, I think I win. U23. No, never mind. I don't win, but I get second in U23 Rare Pro. They pulled off Sugawara at the 70-minute mark down a goal. I'm like, what are you doing? He was like the only piece of offense they had the entire game. They bring on Danny DeWitt. Danny DeWitt sucks. He needs to like piss off.
He's one of those weird ones that like is going to be an Eredivisie guy forever.
They're supposed to. I don't know. He played 90. I just like They pulled off Mijnans again, and I'm just like, how do you pull off Sven and not pull off DeWitt? Sven was so good in that role last year. Just move Sven to that role, sit DeWitt, play. I don't even care who, but like DeWitt sucks. I can't stand watching DeWitt. But yeah, they pull off Sugawara at 70 minutes to bring on Danzo Cassius, and I'm like, you're pulling off Sugawara? Are you kidding me?
Germ says when your defender is the only piece of attack, something is wrong.
Yeah, Mike Bass and BMI scored 96 in a half.
That's pretty good.
Blue Tomatoes asked, why does Mijnans play, or sorry, Mijnans, my bad, Mijnans. Why does Mijnans play deeper this year? Because he has the ability to play both, and the plan was for him to go into the Reinders role. And he's been okay at times. He's definitely not as good as Reinders. And then the plan was for DeWitt to play at the cam, but DeWitt sucks. DeWitt should just not be on the field. And then
you a Jordy Classy guy?
Jordy Class is good. He definitely should be in the role he's in. It's just the other two roles are look, Mijnans should be on the field regardless, but DeWitt sucks. I don't know. I just would not be playing DeWitt. Someone's going to come and be like, Dan DeWitt's good. And I'm going to be like,
he kept 240 guy?
He just sucks. DeWitt sucks. I hate watching DeWitt because every time I watch him, it's just because it definitely looks like Mijnans is way more comfortable in the role he was in last year. But because DeWitt's playing, he's pushed him back. But DeWitt stinks. DeWitt has quite a few decisives this year too, but he just stinks.
And nothing more than a 75.
Mike Basson said the replacement for Reinders is on loan at Wall. I forget who it was. I do remember they loaned someone out to them. Investor Dur. But it is Investor Dur, by the way. It's Investor and then Dur. Okay. So it's either Investor Dur or it's Investor Dur. But anyways, he asked the opinion on Kachu, mess of a start, or we just need to accept that he will be like this full year. He's not been good. Definitely.
He had a straight DNP this past weekend.
Yeah, he's definitely not done what you would have expected him to do. I don't know. He's just not been good.
What about Mihailovic?
Sure. So Georgie, his biggest issue, and they talked about this. I've seen a few people talk about this. He should not have played in the Gold Cup. He played in the Gold Cup, which put him way back in training for the Alkmaar team. And so when he came over to AZ, he didn't get over till late and he missed some of camp and then he just never had a chance to get in. He should have not gone to the Gold Cup and just focused on getting playing time with his team. So I imagine Georgie's going to be back in the MLS next year would be my guess.
Last question on our actual topic, which is actually not really our topic. Pala said, do you think people going from rare to super should skip rare plus and go right to 240 super rare?
Maybe. Cap 240 super is really good right now. Or just the Cap 240 is really good right now.
It's just hard to be competitive in rare plus right away.
Yeah, like rare plus to be competitive, you have to have a pretty substantial gallery. I think it's actually cheaper to go to Cap 240 super rare.
I don't know if it's cheaper. The goalie is such a bottleneck.
It's not that expensive anymore. You can get a goalie for like half an ETH.
Super rare?
Yeah. 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 Laird, come on.
I'm going to just pretend I'm using the I don't believe you GIF from, let's see here.
You can get some super goalies for half an ETH-ish.
What's half an ETH? $800?
I don't know. Joe P says if your keeper gets injured or benched, you're done. Definitely part of the risk if you do something like this. But you can also buy the backup on some teams that are dirt cheap. I mean, yeah.
0.575.
Yeah, and you looked for 1 second.
No, it was just the first. I didn't know how much money that was.
No, but I'm saying like you literally didn't even spend any time at all. You clicked on the first guy and it was like right around half an ETH.
He was more.
Not much. And you, like I said, like David Marshall's a starter. The reason he's going for a lot too is because he plays. There's not many players that play this week. Alex Wilson says you can get Akinfeev for that. Raul says like $900. Yeah, you can get it for like a half an ETH. You can probably play super rare Cap 240 for like under 2 ETH, which is probably less than how much you'd have to play to be competitive in All-Star Rare Pro.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the same applies in rare though. Like it's significantly cheaper to play Cap 240 than All-Star.
Well, there's no limited pro.
I'm just saying if you're moving up, you should. That's why we say to focus on 240 than All-Star.
Yeah.
Alex says, don't forget Higashiguchi too. So the reason I don't like this is because there's like 3 games of utility. If you're willing to wait 6 months, then
no.
Yes,
But David Marshall's $500 or half an ETH. You're showing it right now.
Yeah.
And like he's actually more than he normally would be because they play a midweek game when no one really plays.
Is he the double leg break guy?
Yeah. Yeah, literally a half an ETH.
Yeah.
So Rico Man said I think 1.5K is probably enough for Super 240. I don't know if $1,500 is enough, but probably like $2,500. You probably get away for the like 1.5.
1.5 is less than this, like 0.9 ETH.
Yeah, I don't think you do it for that. You need more than that.
Having one goalie is also a bit tough.
Yeah, it's definitely if I'm getting one goalie and I could get it. If I get a backup on their team, that if he gets injured, I can have the replacement. I would do that.
What is this question? If someone is building a new team for Cap 240 thresholds, what is the minimum number cap they should aim for and still be able to compete? 225, 230, 234. I don't know what that means. Yeah, why wouldn't you aim for 240?
Yeah, you'd aim for 240. You just buy that's why we always recommend buying slightly more cards. Like even if it costs, like I'd rather buy 8 cards for $1,000 than 6 cards for $1,000 if I can. You're competing though, Alex. You're competing for the threshold, not like first place.
Yeah, isn't that the point? That we don't have to compete?
Yeah, we can compete.
We just have to get there?
Yeah, we can compete. We don't have to compete.
Right.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope.
Server said, obviously you aim for 240, but if you're getting into super rare Cap 240, it's pretty hard to hit 240. confused. I don't know what we're.
He's basically saying, like, if you buy 5 cards, how much of a gap do you want?
Yeah, because in case they go up and.
I just wouldn't give a shit about that. I would just buy.
Yeah, just buy.
Cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd buy like 8 cards instead of 5.
Right. Right. You have no idea how much the cap is going to move week to week.
Correct. Like if you suck and then you get a decisive and you put a 75, your cap goes up quite a bit.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. Somebody made a comment how we were supposed to talk about limited to rares and we spend most of the time talking about super rares. It was really just talking about going into the next level, which I believe I said at the beginning, but just some of the things that you need to consider before you actually start moving up. So thank you to everybody. Good luck with all your thresholds, and let's get it.